So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Again, if you've just joined us, remember this is Shift Money 2020 in partnership with the Singapore FinTech Festival, all about debate, insight, financial ideas, financial insights and advice. And by the end of these 2 days, again, walking away with lots of value and insights regarding the fintech landscape, not just here in Croatia, but again, around the world as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready for Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready for the Regional Elevator Lab Challenge Finals. So Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Serbia, Montenegro, and Slovenia, all part of Elevator Lab, an international partnership program powered by Raiffeisen Bank International. So it's all about finding the best B2B fintech startups within the region and then finding them, showcasing them, but also nurturing them so that they can scale up and that real stepping stone to international success. So already we have had 3 different local competitions in Bosnia and Herzegovina and Montenegro, Serbia and Croatia. The 3 winners of those local competitions each won themselves €5,000 in cash, and they also had an opportunity to pilot their project with a local bank. Also the possibility to have more conversations and present their solutions to at board meetings of the local Raiffeisen banks as well. And more importantly, they are here today to compete against each other, a local battle, as it were, competing against each other to walk away the winner of the Elevator Lab Challenge Finals. So what's at stake? We know what they've won, but after being a winner today, what will they actually walk away with? The winner will walk away once again with another €5,000 in cash as a cash prize. Also, a chance to have more conversations, more meetings with the senior managers from Raiffeisen Bank and Raiffeisen Bank International, an opportunity to integrate their innovation, to actually implement their idea, their big idea, into Raiffeisen Group's banking systems, which actually reaches more than 1.7 million clients and naturally intensive media coverage as well. They get training to present their ideas to business clients as well, and also a chance to pitch their idea at the International Elevator Lab Demo Day in 2021 in front of distinguished representatives and the entire Raiffeisen Bank International Group. So as you can hear, a lot to play for, a lot at stake. And again, I'm intrigued as much as you are, really to hear these pitches, hear these big ideas, and really find out who's going to walk away a winner a little bit later on. At this stage right now, I'd like to introduce the jury members, the people that will decide the fates of the lucky winner here on the stage today. But first of all, one of those jury members I'd like to invite here to the stage in person, and that is the Director of Digital Products from Raiffeisen Bank Croatia, Mr. Marko Ladica.
Hello, Peter. Hi, thank you for your welcome, and thanks everyone for having us here this year. You have done a tremendous job of announcing the Elevator Lab and what is it about. I should just briefly add that we are going strong from 2017, and also we have more than 10 startups with a long-lasting cooperation between the Raiffeisen Bank and themselves. And of course, the last year's competitor has also given an opportunity to pilot the project in the Raiffeisen Bank, and the cooperation is still going strong. So there is a lot at stake on today's competition.
Fantastic. Right, what we'll do now, let's meet the other jury members who are not with us here in person, but they are beaming through the screen right now. So let's invite the jury members to join us right now. So CEO of Iniciativa Digitalna Serbia, Nebojša Đurđević. Are you there, Nebojša?
Yes, hello everyone. Pleasure to be here.
Coming.
Yeah, just waiting.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, Labusha.
Fantastic. We also have Maya Miljavats, Head of Startup Enablement at Maestro Solutions. Hi, Miljava, welcome.
Hi.
We can't hear you, but we can see you. Fantastic. We also have Head of Digital Banking Center at Raiffeisen Bank Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kenan Karcic.
Hello. Regards from Sarajevo. How are you?
We can hear you loud and clear. Absolutely. We now have also Deputy Chairman of the Managing Board at Raiffeisen Bank Serbia, Petar Jovanovic.
Hi, guys. How are
Welcome.
you?
Fantastic. And also Senior Strategic Partnerships and Ecosystems Manager at Raiffeisen Bank, Istvan Kovac.
Good morning, Zagreb. Good evening, Singapore. Nice to be here. Hope you can hear me.
Fantastic. And good night to Tokyo. Right, we now have all our jury members ready and waiting. I'm sure, again, you're intrigued to really hear what these three pitches really have to offer. Just to give you the drill of how this is going to unfold, it's very simple and not complicated at all. Each startup will have 5 minutes. They share their big idea for 5 minutes. No more, maybe less, but it's 5 minutes sharing their big idea. After that 5 minutes, we then dig a little bit deeper. The jury members will then ask questions and dig a little bit deeper under the bonnet to really find out what's making this startup tick. And that will go on for about 10 minutes, okay? So up to 10 minutes for question and answer and 5 minutes to actually share their big idea. Okay, I think we're ready. What do you think? Are we ready?
We are ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People here, you're ready. And those of you that are beaming in from wherever you are around the world, I'm sure you're ready too. So without further ado, let's start with our first pitch of the Elevator Lab Challenge Finals. And that is Stefan Kostic from Serbia with Ipification.
Hello, everybody. We are delighted to be here in the regional finals. I'm Stefan. I'm the CEO of Ipification, the company that revolutionized the way of how we authenticate our mobile devices. We are all familiar with SMS one-time codes problems. They interrupt the user experience, they don't arrive often, but most importantly, they're insecure and prone to SIM swap attacks and many other security loopholes, because SMS was never intended to be used for this purpose. Good news is that we have already started commercializing the patented solution called Ipification and achieved great results this year, but way bigger expansion is expected in 2021. So what's the magic trick of multiplying our revenues 20 times in only 1 year? First of all, a very solid telecom network footprint that we've established in the last 3 years of hard work. There are 24 telecom operators live in 11 markets, enabling over 350 million subscribers with our technology. And that's just the beginning, because there's close to 50 more telecoms starting to go live in 2021. Secondly, we signed agreements with already entrenched market players that are ranging from a platform provider such as Microsoft, big A2P SMS aggregators, payment providers, fraud and identity companies that already established a big ecosystem of merchants who are using this type of verification and technologies. So they're using our technology as a backbone to satisfy their customers' mobile authentication needs. Third, and most importantly, our telecom-based mobile authentication solution is unique. It's a super strong possession factor verification, and it's the only market solution that is able to verify 3 most important network elements: phone number, SIM card number, and device number in a single click based on the user's IP address. All the other solutions that depends on SMS or header enrichment are unfortunately already crippled and deprecated, and as such, they have a shelf life. You can see an example of a very popular platform in Serbia who integrated this solution recently, where the user just inputs the phone number and click verify. No need for SMS, no need for voice call. Everything is verified seamlessly in a single click based on the user's IP address. I would like to use this occasion also to show one banking use case we are developing with one international bank for additional verification for online transactions. As we all know, the banks have the phone number of the user in their database as a standard piece of information for digital or physical onboarding. And whenever the user is buying, I don't know, the airline tickets, paying anything on the e-commerce online with credit or debit cards, they have additional verification methods in place, which mostly resides around the hardware token verification or soft SIMs in the mobile banking application, but the most common one is SMS one-time PINs. So the bank is adding the QR code verification as a much more user-friendly option and much more secure. So the only thing the customer needs to do is just scanning the QR code as I'm doing here with their camera, and that's it. There's no need for an app, and transactions is seamlessly verified online. On the mobile app side, basically the verification is seamless with one click without any scanning of the QR code. IPification will become the norm in the field, which is important not only for us as a company, but for the entire digital ecosystem. As you can see here on the right side, our efforts have been recognized by some of the biggest global awards in the space. We have assembled a highly experienced international team that all share the same vision that next generation mobile authentication must be secure, it must be frictionless, and it must protect the end user data and privacy. So please join us to make this vision a reality and revolutionize the mobile authentication space together. So thanks a lot for your attention, and looking forward to the Q&A session coming up very soon. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
So there we have it. There we have it. IPification, the first startup setting the tone of this competition. What happens now is we jump back to our jury members, and they have a chance now to ask questions as much as they like, digging a little bit deeper underneath that bonnet to find out.
Hello, everybody. Cheers from Belgrade.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Okay, I can start. Maybe. Okay, we didn't see anything about your competition. Do you have some research, or who are they, and in which phase they are now?
Well, in terms of competition, there are two big companies out of US. Maybe you've heard about them, you know, Payphone and Boku, that are basically solving the same problem as we are, but leveraging on the existing technologies that are already deprecated on the telecom side. So they use what I mentioned, header enrichment, which been there for more than 20 years or so. And unfortunately, it's becoming deprecated because this technology was meant to be used only on HTTP protocol, which is already, you know, a history for many websites and many security companies nowadays. So naturally, these companies are also becoming kind of our partners on the connectivity side, as I mentioned. So they're using basically the connections we establish on the telecom side, and basically resell this service to their clients. So in terms of you know, deploying the platform on the operator side, we are pretty much unique on the market at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
If I may ask, I guess it's related. First of all, Stefan, great presentation, really a good pitch. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Nevis.
I read the briefing, so I understand what you're saying with respect to the competitive landscape. But how do you ensure that sustainable competitive advantage? Because this looks so slick, it solves the real problem, and I think there will be a bunch of people looking at copying. So you mentioned a patent. What's your sustainable competitive advantage strategy, and how do you protect it?
Well, as you said, I mean, we've done our share of work of patenting the platform, the GMID box side, where the magic happens on the operator side in 5 countries, including US and UK. But I mean, the very nature of the business is kind of making it hard for the other guys to jump in. We all know how hard it is working with telecom operators, right? Like the first deal we needed to make, it took us 1 year to get one telco. Luckily, it goes exponentially. You know, now when you start with the references, when you have 24 operators, then it's way much easier. You know, but if someone wants to start today and do the same thing as we are, they definitely need to go through all the hurdles and know-hows and learning curves as we did, and that's kind of not motivating for many players, and especially even including these A2P SMS providers and payment providers who are already in the telco space. They prefer having someone else do the painful job and put the backbone there if they can use it, for a small share of their revenues.
Okay, so if I may just ask, so that was the first part. So you are saying you are first in, you will get the relationships, you will get the scale and first mover advantage. So what's the patent? Is the patent issued? Is it granted? And what does it protect? How strong is that?
Yeah, it's granted. It's granted in 2 countries. It's already granted in the US and Hong Kong. In UK, in China is pending. So yeah, I mean, the patent is protecting exactly what I mentioned is our core. We are the only solution that is able to verify 3 network elements, what the telecoms are calling network triplet, SIM card, device, and phone number, based on the public IP address that's assigned by your telecom network provider.
Okay, thank you.
That's the core point of the patent. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
May I go next one?
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, I understood that you, excuse me, I understood that you have that you established a relationship with telco operators across the world. Do you have any references or use case already implemented within the banks? And maybe just mention a few.
Yeah, I mean, for us, telcos are just the strategic partners because they're necessary, players to have our solution working. On the banking side, as I mentioned before, I mean, we directly haven't signed the deals with the banks. We have a couple of fintechs and e-wallets in Asia, but our clients, I mean, as I said, channel partners, they are already using our technology for some of the biggest banks. I mean, the biggest bank in UK, in Spain, for example, BBVA, if you are familiar, they're leveraging on our telecom network connections, via our channel partners. So we are basically a backbone connectivity provider. But they have a direct agreement with the guys that I mentioned in the presentation. Yeah.
And just a question from my side: what do you see the best and the biggest use case with the banking industry?
Well, I mean, there are many use cases. I mean, the standard one is the remote phone number verification, which we are all familiar with. I mean, especially in Asia, but we can see the trend coming in Europe as well. There are these neo banks where there's no more brick and mortar kind of physical places for the customers to come in and to verify whatever the piece of identity they need. And the phone number, I think we all agree, is very crucial for any fintech, especially for the banks. So one case is during the user onboarding, then definitely during transaction confirmation as well. As I've shown, no matter it's a desktop or a web confirmation or a mobile app confirmation, we think that it's necessary to always be on the lookout and on a potential fraud alerts, because SIM swap attacks started to grow in Europe as well. I'm sure you are all familiar as well, and this is one of the solutions that is able to protect it without jeopardizing the user experience. That's a very important piece of the element, because you can check this API every time you want to check whenever something sensitive happens without asking the user anything, because it's based on the IP.
For this use case would not be an installation of some additional application, but as I understand, you're doing it purely on the protocol level.
Correct. There's no need for an app. There's no need for anything on the user side to do it. As the moment the telecom operator goes live with our technology, basically all their subscribers are enabled from the first day to use this verification. I think Ishton had one question. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Maybe it's a quick one related to that. You mentioned you're present in 11 markets with telco. Which markets would that be? And especially I'm interested, which of the CEE, Central Eastern European markets you would be present?
We started from Asia, right? Like we started from Hong Kong and the North APAC region. We deployed a solution in 3 countries in Southeast Asia. We have 2 countries in Middle East, Kuwait and Iraq. And now, during COVID time, we intensify our presence in Europe, because a lot of our team members are actually from these regions. So in CEE region, we have deployments with 2 operators in Serbia. 2 operators are finalizing deployments in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Montenegro, the biggest operator deployed there, and in Croatia. We have 1 operator that are currently deploying the solution as well as part of their group deal. So hopefully, by Q1 next year, we will have. We expect to have, Serbia fully covered. Having Telenor joined as well, and hopefully all the other countries in the regions as well. Pretty much covered. Yeah, no question, please. I cannot hear. Maybe it's a sound issue.
Sorry, yeah. So how do you sell? How do you implement in the market? So let's say you sign up the telco. So what's your sale? Like, who is the end customer? You mentioned merchants or the bank. Like, what's the model?
Yeah, the model is straightforward. In order to speed up deployments, we come to the operator with a present. Like, look, this is the platform. We are providing you basically free of charge. The whole installation takes 8 minutes in real time, actually, what their network engineer needs to do, and we promise them basically a new revenue stream coming in straight away, on the other side. So basically, we are charging the authentication for the merchant/service provider. It's either fintech, banking, OTT players, e-commerce, whoever wants to verify the phone number, they pay for each authentication. Similar.
How do you reach them? What's your sales channel? So you sign up the telco. That's relatively easy. There are 3 to 5 telcos in the market. How do you go after merchants, banks, and others?
That's the hard part for us. But like the channel partners, as I said, I mean, a lot of them. For example, in Serbia, we've signed up already 20 plus applications after Cargo went live. But on a global scale, we realize we can't go and chase all the end merchants, all the Facebooks, WhatsApps of the world. So that's why we decide, okay, let's partner with already established market players, such as Sinches, Twilios, Infobips of the world, who already work with them on the SMS side. You have payment companies such as Boku and Cetra who signed up these deals on the payment side. You have GBG, Microsoft, who are providing them already software in some other areas. So these guys are actually our channel partners, and IPification is already enabled through them. So we expect them to deliver the traffic. Yeah.
Got it.
Just going to stop you there, only just because we need to make this as fair and square as possible for everybody. So there we have it, our first pitch of the competition. Again, very intriguing indeed, giving you a flavor and setting the tone of really what's to come as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for all the questions. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay. So again, we want to make this as interactive and engaging as possible. So again, you're listening to this at home, at work, wherever you are in the world, you hear something you like. You'd like to challenge perhaps the startups with their idea in the chat, on the different live streaming platforms, on YouTube, wherever you're watching, put in the chat where you're from and perhaps a question, or maybe within your network, someone that can actually be a good fit and actually could help some of the startups that we hear today on their road to success. We move on now to our second startup of the competition, and this is Robert Ilyas from Croatia, right here in Croatia, with Identium. Robert. I can feel him coming. He's coming through any second now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Robert, representing the Identium team. So this is how it looks when banks invest in mass infrastructure. Duplicated machines doing pretty much the same thing. Why isn't there a single ATM or a single POS device, which then sends the transactions to the issuing banks? Now, this problem is mostly solved and infrastructure is unified. But even now, there are cases where it is not. Now, banks are in the early stages of digitalization, and it seems like they are going to do the same expensive mistake again. Instead of a joint effort, each of them is investing separately into digital onboarding technology. The same is happening outside of banking sector as well. This is, of course, a money burner for each of the banks. When banks compete with investing in mass infrastructure, it is, of course, great for technology providers, but it is bad for banks and their budgets. What we believe a solution for this is a single central federated identity which all the banks and other companies as well consume via simple API. So what we provide is a single digital identity for end users, citizens of Europe, which banks can use through a simple API interface. Our APIs provide the following functionalities: identity verifications through either self-onboarding process or fast-track video call, frictionless eIDAS compliant certificate issuing and document signing, two-factor or even three-factor authentication by using advanced face biometrics, and extracting external financial data via PSD2 bank interfaces throughout Europe. We provide B2B APIs for both web interface or for native mobile applications. Our APIs are fully digital, simple to implement, fully compliant with EU regulation, most notably Anti-Money Laundering 5 and GDPR, and customizable for each client. And we guarantee a 60% lower total cost of ownership with our services. Who needs Identium? Well, pretty much everyone. Every business that wants to digitally transform their channel towards the end user for sure. Regarding traction, we are post-revenue, have 3 clients and 4 more are close to signing a deal. In B2C, we have more than 10,000 profiles in Croatia, and we will be expanding to Slovenia and Spain very soon. Regarding our milestones, about half a year ago, we got licensed from Croatian National Bank as EU-wide PSD2 account information service provider. We reached 10,000 users in Croatia last month. We will any day now sign a second partnership with financial agency, locally known as FINA, to become an eIDAS certification registration authority. And we will soon expand outside Croatia. We will soon reach 15,000 euros monthly recurring revenue, and we have a big digitalization contract close in our sales pipeline. We will also launch B2C Identium Now portal for end users, citizens, mid-2021. B2B market for our service is huge. It is 3/4 either not digitalized or digitalized poorly. In B2C, there are practically no similar services, and we are the market creators. There are 3 companies that are kind of doing the similar thing, but our value proposition is very unique and hard to compare. We are fully compliant with all EU regulation and with some global ISO technical biometric security standards as well. Our B2C model is freemium, and our B2B model is standard software as a service. We believe that the timing is perfect because young people don't want to sign any papers. COVID is making everyone speed up their digitalization efforts, and the European Commission is proclaiming that the next decade will be the decade of digitalization and electronic identity. As for the cooperation, we can fully digitalize the bank's process of opening current accounts, giving cash loans, opening deposit accounts for people that are not previous bank customers. We are a team of 5, soon 6 full-timers, professionals, highly experienced in KYC, identity, and personal data. All of us have worked for large European fintechs, and most of us have worked in mainstream banking as well. Please join our effort to truly digitalize the society and make people trust each other in the digital world. Thank you.
Fantastic. There we are. Identium, Robert Ilias from Croatia. Right. Once again, we jump back to our jury members and let's hear what they feel about what they've just heard. We'll jump straight back to our jury members and Robert as well. There we are.
Okay, I can start. Okay. So we in Raiffeisen, we are already using a solution for the client onboarding for the new bank clients, and I saw it on the list of your competitors, so you know it's part of your landscape. It's called ID Now, and it's also based on a fast track video call, and we use it for more than a year, and we're quite happy how the system function and what are the results. So what will be the reason and this additional value proposition from your side to replace existing solutions? So could we hear more about your uniqueness and these differences to existing solutions on the market?
I can give you a very short answer and a little bit longer answer. The very short answer is document signing. That means that a longer answer is that means that unlike ID Now, in the process of onboarding, we also issue a digital certificate to the end user who can then sign any document in the same process. So basically, after you onboard it, you just onboard him on her or her, you just push a PDF to him and he can sign it in the same process frictionlessly. The other thing is that the part of our process is also the potential gathering of his financial data from the other bank because of the PSD2 license that we have. So we can also pull the financial data based on which either we or you can do the scoring for the credit loan. And it boils down to that you just have an extremely frictionless process for his onboarding, especially in the case of cash loans.
Okay, thank you.
And as we mentioned, the ID Now, and that this is, let's say, a different use case. What would you bring additionally if we, for example, implement the digital signing of the documents of the PDFs? What is your differentiator between the, let's say, current implementation with the ID Now and your solution?
So regarding ID Now, you basically don't have document signing at all. You need a separate provider to do it. And in order to get a digital certificate, if you are using qualified certificates, which you probably are, but that's not necessary, but you probably are, that means that you need to have a video call center as well, which is an extreme degradation of conversion because you need to have agents which are 24/7 available for the video call to be able to issue the digital certificate. In our case, all of that is frictionless. So we are ID Now plus certificates plus PSD2 data plus some other fancy things which are maybe too deep to drill down into right now.
And what is the average, let's say, handling time of a customer for the identification in your process?
It really depends on the choice of the bank. If the bank wants qualified certificates, then it's less than 8 minutes. The majority of that gets eaten up by the video call, but our video call is different than all the others. It's a fast track and much, much quicker. But if you are happy enough with unqualified certificates, which is legally good enough, then it's approximately 2 minutes because it's self-onboarding technology then. There is no live agent in the process.
I may ask a similar question as before. So what's your sustainable competitive advantage? Like you listed on that sheet quite a few competitors. So, how are you not going to be copied or compete with someone who has more money potentially to do the same thing?
Well, basically, we just showed you on the presentation the short list. The total list is more than 100 companies doing pretty much the same thing, because if you encapsulate KYC and personal data and everything into the definition of what we do, then you have more than 100 companies doing the similar thing. But if you try to compare and find the companies that actually issue digital identities to people, which is our core proposition, is that citizens get Identium ID card, then you have only 3 companies that are kind of doing this in some way. And all of us are more or less in a similar stage, but we have some advantages that they do not, while everything they have, we have as well. So basically, it is only just 3 companies. Potentially, VeryMe from Germany is, I would say, our biggest competitor. Their advantage is that they have started maybe a year earlier than we, but their biggest disadvantage is that they are owned by large German companies, which are now focusing on themselves, and they are becoming like an extended IT department from these companies, which means that they don't have enough power to truly be independent and grab the European market. This is completely new. There are no players around it, big players, European players, or even global players, because the area of digital identity as such is only now being defined, roughly defined by European Commission. This is much different than KYC onboarding and, you know,
okay, so for you, it seems like it's a quick to market kind of a game. You need to raise money and go quickly and grab the territory, grab the market share.
Exactly. It's the only viable strategy if we want to be #1 in the world. So apart from, of course, having the technology ready, we are also heavily working on preparing a B2C, or actually it's a C2C solution, where one citizen will be able to identify other citizen remotely and will be able to sign a PDF which will be legally valid throughout the European Union without any integration with anything whatsoever, with extremely simple user experience on the web. So we are going to, you know, push these solutions to any citizen in Europe that, you know, wants to identify any other citizen in Europe on the other part of Europe or even world. And the part of that solution is also going to be the potentiality to check the financial data as well. So you are going to be able to check if a person in Finland is the true owner of his IBAN number and what is his average 3-month salary on his current account, for any transactions that might happen between you guys in the future.
If I may jump in with a question. Hi, Robert. So maybe a question related to the previous ones. Can you please share your business model or pricing model? Is there any difference against the competition?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, since we are an identity provider, we are drastically cheaper than anybody else. That means that if you go with Identium in our wishful scenario, where we open up the identities to other companies as well, then you will save at least 60%. That's a guarantee, or more than if you integrate any other technologies. If you want to go with Identium as a white label solution, that means that's also doable. So we remove anything about Identium. We are just a pure white label. We don't like it, but we can do it. But then it is just cheaper. It is not drastically cheaper. It is just cheaper.
Thanks.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Robert. My question would be, I saw in the presentation that, you know, via camera, you check the person. My question would be, how do you compare it with any kind of legal document, like an ID or passport? Yeah, basically, if you do it and how you do it.
Yeah, sure. So we scan the ID document via the camera. This is a self-onboarding process, which the user does by him or herself. So we take a picture. We get all the information by machine learning OCR, which is quick and frictionless. And as a second step, we also do a hologram detection, which is a human-assisted machine learning, which basically searches for the hologram on the ID card or any other document, and to make sure that it is not a fake. And of course, after that, the typical liveness, where we check that the person using the mobile phone is the same person that is on the ID card. That's very, very, very important. It should be resilient to masks and anything else, and it is. It is it's not our solution, of course. Not everything is our solution. It is from our sub provider, which is #1 in the world.
So that means that basically you check if the card is fake or real, and if it's the same person, but the card itself you would not compare with any kind of, you know, government data bank that this is the.
Oh, we would. We would. It depends on the country. You know, we can do what we can do. For example, in Croatia, we can do it a bit like, you know, maybe hacking it, I would say, but we can do it. So we can check it. I mean, legally, of course. We can check the basic data if it matches the one from the government sources. For example, Bulgaria is a perfect case where you can cross-verify pretty much everything from the government database. And in other countries, it is really a country-by-country specific case. So yes, we also do the external checks as well, wherever possible.
And that wraps up our session for the second startup. Robert, thank you so much. Fantastic.
Thank you.
We'll see your fate, what happens a little bit later on when we find out who the actual winner is of this competition. We move on now to our third startup. So first we heard from the winner of the Serbia competition. Robert is the winner of the Croatian competition. We're going to hear now the winner of the Bosnia and Herzegovina and Montenegro competition. And from Montenegro, Nebojša Nedić with Bobot. I think Nebojša is coming through right now.
Coming.
Hi everyone, my name is Nebojša. Together with two of my friends, we are working on a platform for companies and salespeople. Companies will use the platform to calculate and pay bonus to their sales employees, while salespeople will have public profiles that they can share with others. Today, most of the companies use Excel to calculate bonus. This is quite complex, it's time-consuming, and most importantly, it lacks transparency. The key issue here is that bonuses are available only at the end of the period, which practically puts the companies in a situation that they cannot, during this period, create competition, ranking lists, and so on. Further, if they would like to hire some new sales employees, they can do this only using traditional hiring process. In our case, companies will simply create incentive strategies, apply them to sales data, and then our platform will calculate and pay bonus to their sales employees. And now this is the part where cooperation with Raiffeisen Bank would be beneficial, I believe, for both sides, as we would like to integrate our platform and with Raiffeisen, and in that way provide even more value for the customers. What you see here is our application. On mobile screens, you can see the public profile of the salesperson with their reputation and relevance. And this is actually the way how companies can later search for the best salespeople on the network. Unlike our competitors that are focused on delivering value only to companies, in our case, we believe that it is very important to deliver value both for companies and salespeople, as this is the only way how we can fully engage the salespeople into this process. The point here is that it is the personal interest of the salesperson that they sell more, because in that way they are growing their public profile, which then, as a fact, also is good for the companies at the same time. Regarding the market, our total addressable market is quite big, as according to different research, in developed countries, more than 70% of the companies are paying bonus to their sales employees. In Western Balkan region, this number is significantly lower. For example, in Croatia, it's about 35%. Now, we talked to several companies from different industries, and we wanted to hear them, how they are doing this, and what do they feel about a solution like this. So what we find out is that all of these companies who were actually paying bonus to their employees were using Excel to do this, and all of them wanted to change this practice as they really didn't like it, and it was too complex for them. Regarding the opportunity, so once we integrate our platform with the Raiffeisen Bank, practically all of our customers will become Raiffeisen customers as well. So let's take the example of this insurance company that we talked to. So once they start using our platform, actually it will be their best interest to open the account in Raiffeisen Bank in case they don't already have it, but also at the same time, it will be their best interest to invite their sales employees to open the account in Raiffeisen Bank, because in that way, they will get the most value from this process and they will decrease their costs. Now, our business model is quite simple. We have three parts there. So we are going to charge monthly subscription fee for the companies that are using our platform to calculate and pay bonus to their employees. Again, when we talk to these companies, we find out that smaller companies with around 6 to 10 sales employees, they were spending around 8 hours per month to execute this process. But bigger companies with around 100 sales employees, they actually needed 6 days to do this, to collect data from different sources, process this data, and then execute these payments. Further, when network part of the company of the platform is developed, we are going to offer tokens to companies to search the platform for the best sales employees, but also we are going to offer platform ads for the companies that would like to stand out from the crowd, and also for third parties that would like to offer their services on our platform, for example, training for the salespeople. At the end, a little bit about us. I have Master of Computer Science degree in computer vision field. I have 18 years of experience in banking industry. Before this last 4 years there, I was working as executive director for retail and SME business, where among other things, I was managing a team of 170 sales employees. And some ideas that we are talking about here are coming from that part when I was actually doing this job. Mariana has 12 years in banking industry. She has mathematics and computer science degree. Her areas of expertise are product development, business process design, electronic channels, and she was developing software for the core system of the bank. Nina is coming from hospitality industry. She is a professor on Canadian Faculty of Hospitality Management on courses like customer service and sales management. She has 15 years of business experience, and she was managing high-class resorts. All three of us are very well known to each other, and we are coming from the companies that were using Excel to calculate bonds. So thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward for your questions.
So there we have it. There we have it. Nebojsa with our third picture of the session of the competition. Bobot, again, we jump back to our jury members, and let's hear what they feel about what they've just heard. Jury members?
Hi.
So,
yeah. Can you go first? Thank you for presentation, Nebojsa. Really well done. One thing that wasn't covered is competition. I saw in the material that you identified Salesforce as the main competitor. Could you please explain what's the difference, what's your advantage, and how are you going to fight them?
Yes, so obviously, of course, we have competition. And the key difference here is that all of these companies are focused, all of these providers, software providers, are focused on companies alone. So they don't really provide any value for the salespeople. So the salespeople are employees wherever they are working, and they are doing this job, and that's it. But what we wanted to change here is to create the environment where salespeople also have the interest to sell more, not only because of the money that they are getting from the company, but because in that way they are growing their reputation and relevance, meaning what products they are selling and so on. And in that way, this is becoming the interest of the salesperson to sell more, other than the financial interest, obviously. So this is a big difference. And then this network part of the platform, how we call it, then can actually change the way, can literally speed up the whole sales process for the companies that are working there.
Okay, so if we say that in Raiffeisen we're not the company who is using Excel for the variable performance calculation, we use banking software which is highly automatized. This additional value proposition that you're offering beyond that, do you think this is enough that company like Raiffeisen will switch to your solution?
So you know, Raiffeisen is a bank, but let's talk about, because you already have the infrastructure to execute payments and everything, because this is practically the banking, right? But let's talk about some other company that doesn't have the infrastructure, like any other, like these insurance companies, or I don't know, some marketing agency that we talk that they have around 100 sales employees. So you know, for them, they are processing this data, and this is actually quite complex for them. And when they process this data, then on top of that, they have to execute the payments as well. And then they can do it in several ways. They can export it to the file, send it to the bank, execute these payments, and so on. So what we are proposing to them for these companies is that literally on one click, so they define the strategy, and they literally with one click perform all these tasks all together. And then it's a question whether the company, for example, this insurance company, whether they would switch to Raiffeisen and say, listen, open the account, let's open the account in Raiffeisen, because that's the way how we are going to make these payments to our sales employees practically flawlessly without any effort. So this is the one part. And the second part is once they are part of the network, then when I was doing this job, for me, it was really hard to find new salespeople. I mean, we were doing this using this traditional process. We simply announce the advertisement, then we look for the employees. With our platform, we can actually search based on their reputation, and this can really significantly shorten the time, decrease the cost, and can put us in a very good position, especially the companies who are, let's say, preferable employers, because you know everybody would like to work for them. So the whole environment, we are creating this competition for the employees as well. Like employers has to work hard with their employees to save the best people. If you understood this detail.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Thank you.
If I get it, you are then really creating a freelance platform for the salesperson, so that I, as a person, can platform and really sell anything that is there?
Yeah, so one of the consequences, so we are not doing this in this phase. So in our phase where we are right now, this is not the interest, this is not something that we are pursuing right now. But one of the consequences is, you are right, because what can happen is that as more and more salespeople is present on the network, and that number can grow really fast, because, for example, just several companies that we talked to, they have, all of them were having like 100 sales employees. So we can really, for the specific region, we can really reach really big numbers of salespeople that are present on the network. And once that happens, then as a natural consequence, the companies can then search for these people and start offering them the contracts to practically sell their products as well.
I would also have a question, Nebojša. I would understand that, you know, when it comes to bonus payment, performance, anything like this, it's rather confidential data, right? So I was wondering, what's your kind of model of using the tool? Is it on-premise or cloud, or how do you deal with that confidential data?
Thank you. So that really depends on the company. So where we are implementing, so it can go any. It's kind of a technical thing. So some companies will prefer data to be present only on their premises, and in that way we would have to install the certain environment with them. But a lot of companies will not have a problem with this, and they will use our cloud solution. So how we organize it is that we have this cloud solution that will be useful for probably smaller, medium companies, while the banks will probably opt for implementing the data part of the environment locally, so they don't kind of risk it to be present anywhere else. So it's really up to the implementation. It's not. It depends on the wish of the company, but both are possible.
Got another 3 minutes left, so another perhaps two more questions. No?
I would have a question maybe regarding the traction, if you can drill down. So what's the kind of sales so far, and what's your strategy to expand to larger scale?
So for us, it's really important, this cooperation with the bank. I mean, we had a lot of ideas how we can do this, but I think that the most optimal solution is simply to do it with the partnership with the bank, because in that way we will immediately be exposed to a larger number of customers. So this is kind of the way how we would like to approach this in the early stage. Right now we are in the final phase practically of our product, and we are talking to. We have, I don't know, 6, 7 companies that are waiting for us practically to offer them this solution. So this is where we are at this moment.
Okay, what would be the critical success factor or number of clients in order for this case to be successful? Did you make any calculation or so?
Listen, it's we didn't really go into this direction, meaning like what is the minimum part. We were more interested in how much we can reach, or what is the potential for the product and everything. So I can tell you about this. So in our region, only Western Balkans, we have around 400,000 companies together, and if we take around 20% that are paying bonus to their employees right now at this moment, so I'm not talking about like Western Europe or something where there is even around 70%, then our potential is really huge, especially when we bring in the sales people on the network as well. So this is kind of a driving force for us, not really this minimal, especially because our cost is really quite low, so we don't have any kind of big cost or anything. So it's quite simple for us to do this.
Okay, I think that wraps up our last interrogation of our third startup pitch. So Nebojša, thank you so much, and we'll hear a little bit later on your fate and the fate of the other startup pitches as well. So that wraps up the pitching competition. We've had three very diverse big ideas. very difficult for, I'm sure, the jury members to decide who's going to walk away a winner, and I'm sure quite tough for you as well. But listen, we'd love to hear what you think. So in the chat areas, in the chat box, in the areas where you're watching online, let us know how you feel. Let us know who you feel should walk away a winner. All that leaves me now to say is thank you so much to our jury members. Marko here on stage with me now, Nebojša, Kenan, Petar, Istvan, and Maya. Thank you so much for being our jury members. They will now walk away. They will go off somewhere and hide away for a little while and discuss, debate, and come up with the winning startup of this competition. We're here, who the winner is, on this stage at 2 o'clock sharp. So 2 o'clock, back here to find out who that winner is. All that leaves me now to say is thank you so much, Marko, and we will carry on to our next session. Thank you so much.
We have a good job ahead of us.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on now to our next session of the day. So if I ask you, banks using digital to return to their roots. Now, if I ask you how you do that, I'm sure maybe some of you will have an idea, or why do that? Again, some of you have your own ideas on that. But the next two people here on stage are going to discuss that idea and come up with an answer and give their vision of how everything should unfold as well. So we're delighted to have here on stage the CEO of Raiffeisen Bank Croatia, Liljana Kesaric, together with Nikola Pavičić from Nikkei, the moderator. Thank you so much.
Can someone wave? You can hear us? Yes. The mics are on. Perfect. Thank you. Welcome everyone to this fireside chat, the first live of the day in this really weird and unusual times. It's about customer-centric design, and the title of this fireside chat is Banks Using Digital to Return to Their Roots. I believe in this fintech world, banks are seldom perceived as innovators, and terms like CX and UX and agile are usually more attached to startups and fast fintech movers than to banks. But I believe things have changed a lot in the last few years, 3 to 4 to 5 years, and then things will definitely change in the future. It's my honor to have with us here for this fireside chat today, Ms. Liljana Kesaric, the CEO of Raiffeisen Bank Croatia. Welcome, Liljana.
Thank you very much, Nikola.
It's great to have you here. So we don't have much time, so let's jump straight right into it. Raiffeisen Bank in this part of the world is a major regional bank. How do you, as such a large financial institution, perceive the interaction of finance and technology? How do you see that?
Yeah, finance and technology, it can go not one without another. Yeah. I started in the bank in 2001. Actually, that was my first experience, was building the first internet banking for our customers. From being an innovative bank back then was something that really pushed the bank going further. Years after, I think that the banking sector in general actually focused on a bit different stuff. Yeah? And what I really think is that, you know, coming back to the roots, how we did things back then is something that, you know, will make banks really innovative again. So major challenge within our bank was actually lagging behind, yeah, some technology companies in the last 10 years. But understanding that really, you know, building on the customer relationship that we have been having and building this innovative culture internally within the company is something that will push us going further. So to really explain it in a concrete example is, you know, having the IT as a service and the maintenance organizational unit is really not sustainable going further. This is what we changed internally in Raiffeisen Bank. And this is our way, and this is really what we are very proud to do. And going further, we will push it even harder.
Perfect. Thank you. One interesting thing is that this challenger is in every sector of finance, I believe, you know, in insurance, in banking, in investment. In the last, what I said, 5 or 10 years, we had all these challengers popping up, and it really, really kind of challenged, and they obviously fight for their part of the market. When did a bank like yours, like Raiffeisen Bank, become aware of these trends? Because a lot of banks are going to tell you, we've been there from the beginning. Maybe that's not true. But when did you actually realize, okay, like we really, really need to focus on this?
I can talk from my personal experience, really. You know, when I really started to actually read and, you know, experience these amazing disruptive stories, for example, I was probably one of the first users of Revolut. Yeah, it made me really in the position. You know, I was in the position to really understand how complex things are within the bank. Yeah, so it was not like one breaking point in which we understood it, but actually our customers, it's telling us, you know, guys, it's so complex, you know, I really want to use my money on an easy and seamless and transparent way. And we have been having, like, for example, internet banking, which you needed to use like 2 or 3 passcodes to really be able to authorize the transaction. So that was not really what the customers were expecting from us. They were, you know, changing that paradigm is really what I say, you know, it's not only about technology. You know, technology and technology legacy is one thing that the banks have to deal with, like we are dealing with, but as well the psychological legacy, yeah, the mindset legacy that we are having internally in the company, you know, being a big bank which actually, you know, creates services, products, is something that we are tackling every day. Yeah, and I think that this part of the legacy is even bigger for the banks to deal with. Yeah, and building this, you know, mindset of the innovators internally in the company is something that is my daily job. Yeah? Not only really putting the technology, because technology cannot solve the issues. Technology can help, technology is there, but actually connecting people around the technology and really solving problems, this is what I think that the banks are here for.
And when you said this realization that happened, what would you say some of the biggest challenges? You just explained exactly what it is, but obviously change management, obviously adapting to this. It's not just about, you know, putting the technology. It's about, you know, working internally as an organization as well. And I would dare to say, and I was actually at a conference in New York last year when we could still go to conferences and travel. And what like one of the speakers from CB Insight says like that all the major banks now, investment banks especially, you know, like Goldman Sachs and, you know, JP Morgan, etc., they consider to be tech companies, so more like a Google than a bank. Would you agree in that? Would you think Raiffeisen Bank is on that trail? Do you see the bank like that?
What I actually, you know, my expression is, this is a bit stretchy, but I use it, you know, people don't need banks, but everybody needs banking. Yeah? Okay. We all want to do the banking. Yeah? And I think that, you know, the role of the banks are changing. So banks need to really connect easily the people with their money, with their opportunities. Yeah? Technology is here to help, of course, and technology was always available, but actually to connect the people around the technology and to really align on how we work together, that is the major challenge for us. Yeah? Yes, of course, you have mentioned agile, etc. To be able to really shift that paradigm internally within the bank, you know, you have to really acknowledge that there is a part of the bank that really needs to provide, you know, services which are critically important. But as well, shifting this paradigm into innovation teams, building them around technology and adapting the way how we work together, of course, insourcing the critical knowledge, that was a challenge for us. So what I would say, yes, we are a tech company as a bank, but with a human touch.
I think I'm going to advocate for banks a little bit here as well now.
Thank you for doing so.
You mentioned Revolut before, and obviously as one of the major players here, but of course there are many, many others. And a complaint that I often heard from banks is like, yes, of course, we you know, are aware of the technology, we're aware of the changing tides, as you wish, but what our requirements and our MO is very different from this challenger banks. You know, we have to manage branches, we have to have all this traditional banking stuff. Regulatory requirements are often different, right? How do you see this interaction? Do you think it's really easier for challenger banks, at least in the beginning?
You know, yeah, from the outside perspective, it looks easier, but I think what we as banks can lean on is really this long, sustainable relationship with our customers. Yeah, we know, you know, we are here for decades. Yeah, Raiffeisen Bank is actually celebrating 26 years in Croatian market. And, you know, we have internal muscles that we can lean on. The only thing which I think is for us crucial is, you know, to have really this innovative spirit, these sparks within the company that can really bring the company toward the second maturity phase. For us in Raiffeisen Bank, you know, the major strength that we see and that we lean on is really, you know, we have always been evaluated from our customers as the bank which really builds this relationship. And then we said to ourselves, you know, but why are we building services and products and functionalities which our customers are really, you know, having difficulties to use? Because we probably didn't put the customers in the middle of everything that we do. And this change of the paradigm, you know, it helped us a lot. So this is, you know, putting the customer in the middle of whatever you are doing. Nevertheless, it's a technology, it's a feature, it's a stuff. It may be a report, it may be a call center agent, it may be, you know, the board that is communicating complaints area. Whatever you do, really be aware that the customer is in the middle. Ask for a feedback, iteratively change, test with the customer, and be able to give up on certain things, you know, accept that some things which you did are really not good enough. Huh?
I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to dig a little bit deeper here on this, and the title of this talk is Customer Centricity. You mentioned to me before that you're almost obsessed with customer centricity. How hard it is, this paradigm shift that you just mentioned, how hard it is to switch yourself completely and put yourself basically in your customer's shoes, right? As a bank, as such a large institution, not as a 5 guys that are doing a challenger bank right now, right?
You know, what I always like to think is, you know, every day is a new day to change. Huh? The second of all, you asked me how hard it was. You know, I always lean on the team that actually developed this first internet banking. This is still the team that is internally working in the bank. Yeah, so you have to lean on the people because we work with people, for people, but really, you know, bringing this perspective of easiness, simple stuff, human approach. This is what stick to this company, I mean Raiffeisen company, as one of the core values. And I can tell you like few examples, which are maybe not tech examples, and you can really do it, you know, you can really do it in different touch points, because we as the bank, you know, what is our primary goal? We want to win the customer heart, and we want to win the employee heart. And those two things, they need to go together. So for example, what our customers are telling us, you know, guys, your complaints process is really, you know, it's painful for me, yeah? So why don't we change it? You don't require much technology to do it, yeah? Why our answers toward the customers can become simpler, easier. For example, in the contract area, so our customers were telling us, you know, your contract, they have 10 pages. It would be easier for me if you put a table of content, if you put the important stuff in the beginning. This is what we did. And we are piloting those contracts in our 3 branches. And at the same time, we are actually piloting them internally with our people, you know? So you don't have to be, I would say, a magician. You just have to really open your heart, open your ears and listen, yeah? And be ready to experiment.
It's interesting to say that you work with your employees as well. That reminds me of the parallel that we did before with the tech company. I know tech companies do this a lot, you know, the Googles and the Facebooks. They always test all the products with their employees, and you know, they have tens of thousands of those. So that's a very good data point. Is it same applicable for you? Do you launch your products or test your products? You mentioned contracts as well with your employees as well?
Of course. Of course we test it, you know. But what is interesting, what we discovered is, you know, the results of the testing internally and externally, they're quite different. Yeah, they're quite different.
It's not that easy.
It's not that easy. It's really not that easy, and that's why, you know, we are actually calling our customers, you know, a smaller group of customers to test it with us, because what we found out that you know, employees can sometimes be still looking it from inside out, you know, but what we want to have is really outside in perspective. So yes, we are doing both. That is the correct answer to your question.
And you said, like, we spoke a little bit about, you know, this customer centricity. We spoke about tech companies and challenger banks. And we, in an intro, we kind of announced, yes, there was like a shift maybe 5-10 years ago where we said all these Revoluts and moving in, and suddenly everyone can open a bank with like a few clicks, and you don't have to go to the branch and so on. And as we said, among others, you know, Raiffeisen Bank is catching up, is offering products that are equally, or might I dare say, even sometimes, you know, of a higher quality than those challenger banks. But where do you see the perspective of the banking sector moving forward, for example? How are they going to compare market-wise with these challenger banks, let's say 5 to 10 years from now? I know it's very hard to make these predictions, but just like roughly.
Really what I see as the major thing for the banks will be actually to achieve this consistency, consistency across channels. As you have mentioned, yes, we are having branches. A lot of our customers are visiting branches. But what we want as a bank is really to provide those wow moments on the digital channels as well in the branch. There has to be a consistency in between. Yeah? This is one thing. And the bank which actually is able to provide those moments of the excellent customer experience on both will be probably the winner. The second stuff is where I see, you know, the opportunity for us as a banks is really this human approach, you know, to change this paradigm that banks are strict, that they use a very strange language in really communicating with our customers. This is where I see the opportunity for the bank lies.
I think this is, I think it's about branding as well, right? And if you're a well-established bank, you have this brand that helps you in a way. Sometimes maybe it doesn't. But then, as you said, this putting a person in the center really makes a difference. I don't know if any of you here, not too many, have had the chance to, interact with challenger banks, and obviously that's not easy either, and you have to comply there. Do you think you can appeal also to the people that you mentioned you were one of the first people that used Revolut, right? Do you think you can appeal to the, let's call them younger people that would maybe apply for Revolut, but as a major financial institution, you can actually now appeal to them equally as a brand?
Of course. Yeah. I truly believe so. And I truly believe, what makes me happy and what makes my heart really warm is that I see a lot of new kids on the block in our bank, bringing this fresh perspective, because, banks, or at least I can speak about Raiffeisen, is becoming, a place that people are doing interesting stuff, People are working new technologies. There are people which you can learn from, So there are older guys, but they are very, very experienced. You can learn from them. And this is not, the setup that each and every company can provide. So I see a lot of new kids, coming in the bank, really starting to work for the bank in different areas, bringing these sparkles of innovation. And I think that there is a hope for us. Yeah, of course.
You don't necessarily have to give us any numbers, but we spoke about, Goldman Sachs and being a tech company. Is there a significant shift, no pun intended, obviously, towards more techies in Raiffeisen Bank compared to like 3 or 5 years ago?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that shift. I see, of course, we are also enabling, kind of a setup, but actually, I see the people that are really less bankers, more, people who are really able to do things with common sense. Yeah, and they really, it's not about putting those people in the banking environment. It is, for me, the opposite way, Me right now as a CEO, I have a challenge, to really look the whole bank perspective. And I really want to build up this innovation in whatever area, compliance area, audit area. You can always use some of the basic principles of the agile in wherever. And, bringing this fresh perspective from the outside, it really helps us tremendously.
Yeah, indeed, people always look at this parts of digital innovation and, mobile phones that you can interact with, but there's so much more innovation that can happen in finance, in fintech, front office, back office operations, clearances, etc. That I think we're only at the beginning of all this thing. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. They're going to kick us off soon, but your last outlook, you said, I think what I took from your talk is like technology is obviously not enough, right? You need to build a whole organization with different paradigm, different mindset. Your closing words for the perspective, what do you want to say to the audience here and that are streamed online? Thousands of people watching us.
Thousands of people watching us. Yeah, building with people, for the people, and really based on the principles of clarity, simplicity, and human touch.
Perfect.
This is where the banks are going.
Thank you, Liana. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to our audience, and hopefully see you again next year in
Nick.
Slightly better conditions.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay, so there we have it. So we've come to the end of our first section of today. We will have a very short break, back on this stage for more Shift Money 2020 at 1:30. So 1:30 CET, back on this stage for some more Shift Money 2020.
to take control of the payments of their merchants. To do this, banks have the choice to build, buy, or borrow their payment platform. Of course, banks could try to develop software to become a PSP themselves, but this takes a lot of time, money, and knowledge without any guarantee for success. And why build it yourself? We are Magnius, your technology partner in the payment industry. We provide a white label intelligent payment platform, 100% compliant, and continuously up to date with the newest techniques and standards. A safe and scalable solution for banks, acquirers, and PSPs who want to offer their clients a smooth payment process. With Magnius, it is possible to launch your own online payment proposition with global payment products fast and remote, in your own corporate style. Want to know more? Get in touch. We are happy to help.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our next section of the day with Shift Money 2020 in partnership with the Singapore FinTech Festival. So already this morning we've had insights, ideas, debate, challenging ideas as well, all about FinTech, all about the financial landscape, and really the effect of it today, but maybe more importantly, the effects of it tomorrow and in the future as well. Right now, we jump into digital onboarding, full and regulated. So gaining new clients in environments where regulation marks a specific process to carry out necessary procedures is really the name of the game in really what it's all about right now. So right now here on stage for Shift Money 2020, please welcome from Asseco Southeastern Europe, Krešimir Suljak, and from Addiko Bank, Relja Markovic.
First of all, thank you for being here, and thanks to organizer for the invitation, of course, and many thanks to Mr. Relja Markovic and Addiko Bank for their readiness to participate, which will hopefully give you an insight how does it look like going digital and fully regulated from bank's perspective. We will try to make this presentation non-technical as much as we can, as technology used in this project is flexible enough for any future changes that are expected. So let's move to the next slide. So the onboarding. In general, there are three main types of onboarding. First one is on-site, and it is the conventional method. The customer goes to the branch or store and must show identity document as a proof of identification. Also, and submit some various papers, documents, put the signature on it, etc., etc. The second type is semi-on-site or semi-digital, where documents or even the whole process is digital and everything can be filled at home, but still customers must move to the branch to hand them in and to prove their identity. And there was also another way for this semi-digital, which is called penny transfer, but we know what regulator thinks of it and we will not mention it anymore today. And that leaves us with the third one, which is digital. And it refers to any non-presential identification process that allows an organization to register a new customer. This process is completely remote and customers do not need to go to an office or a branch if they do not want to. So they're able to become customers remotely with the same security and can guarantee for their identity. This onboarding or this digital onboarding, this is exactly our goal or our common goal for many years now, to offer it and to implement digital onboarding process with the same technical and legal security as a face-to-face verification in the branch offices. I think that technology is ready for quite some time, but regulatory frame was something that we were all waiting for. Relja will tell you more about Addiko's path and how they made it fully digital and in-sourced as it is now. So, as always, when you're trying to change something and when you are offering the service that basically wasn't implemented in your organization, and not to mention your country, you are going to find yourself with at least two teams on completely different sides. So one is business and the other one is, of course, legal. And business always sees this as an opportunity to acquire new customers, to upgrade the value of existing ones. And legal is always, legal. So they want to see how this process can be official with all the legal, regulatory, and best practice requirements covered. Luckily, on Addiko project, we met teams with quite some experience, but nevertheless, those 6 months, and when we look at it now, it is kind of perfect learning curve for all sides, included vendors also, and you'll see why later. So, despite what you see on the slide, one more thing was very important, to make it easy as possible for customers in an environment that is strictly regulated. Our customers are used to a constant change as innovations are evolving rapidly, and things that were not possible or were complex and complicated are now just 2 clicks away. The expectation to make this digital onboarding, this particular digital onboarding, possible in 2 clicks or 2 screenshots, this was never what we're what we were trying to achieve, as this was basically, or this is basically impossible. So we rather focused our efforts on how to create simplest but legally compliant KYC, on how to implement tools such as OCR or co-browsing to reduce the effort and time consumption on customer side, to make video identification process part seamless and structured until the moment customer is sent to trusted provider site to enroll for the qualified digital signature. And I think the first impressions are telling us that we succeeded. So, of course, this doesn't mean that we will stop to improve. Anytime we find the tiniest detail that can be optimized, we react instantly, and this is thanks to technology used in this project that makes us ready for all types of the anticipating regulation changes. So now I can maybe explain why I'm so much into regulation and regulatory framework. The answer is simple. Financial sector is among the most heavily regulated sectors in the world. And on the other side, there is Asseco, one of the leading technology providers in Europe, that is working with the biggest banks and insurers. So obviously that leaves us almost no room to go out of the regulatory frame. But don't get me wrong, we support and we are always looking up to what e-banks, digital banks, neobanks are doing together with their own vendors. And they're the ones disrupting the market, and they're the ones most creditable when it comes to regulation changes and adjustments. So collaboration between fintechs, neobanks, traditional banking is driving all these advances in digital onboarding processes, and keep up the good work. Asseco, with its customers, is here to provide bulletproof, legally compliant technology that enables our customers to perform fully digital onboarding and related processes. And speaking of compliance, the first thing that crosses our minds must be know your customer. So this is the process or the practice. One goal, of course, is to verify the identity of potential or existing customer. And another goal is to find or to fight the potential fraud. On our common project, this was priority number one, together with to make it easy and fast for the customer. Our thinking was that the customer really does not have anything to do with the technology and controls that are applied in the backend of the digital onboarding process. Also, do not forget Addiko is an international organization having affiliates in 6 countries, I think, and we had to think about implementation there, even though compliance in the financial services are distinct from country to country. So each country has its own laws and policies, fields that needs to be filled, documents that must be uploaded. Here in Croatia, we focused on to mandatory requirements. The forms fulfillment and uploading processes in KYC are easy and fast, especially in the backend, where miracle happens and those control mechanisms are doing their job. We got rid of all unnecessary steps, unnecessary questions, unnecessary messages, or documentation. And even though we would like to make it even more faster and customer friendly, we were aware from the start that digital onboarding processes that many of us see as very fast, very easy, and very nice looking do not comply with what our regulator and laws are requiring in the process. So the banks are obligated to do it like we did on this project. And therefore, we separated the onboarding process in at least 3 parts. The first one was KYC, which basically is client side. Then the video, which is the process where the identification happens or where the identity is confirmed. And the third one was electronic signature issuing. And although it is all part of one process, it was easier for Addiko and for us vendors on the project to focus on what matters the most in each of these 3 areas. How did it look like from Addiko side? I think it's better if Relja will tell you. So Relja, now the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Krešo. Before we move on, I would like to make one step back and tell you how the idea of virtual branch came to our mind. So Addiko started the digital transformation quite early, and as expected, in the first phase, we were more focused on improvement of our daily banking services. We implemented entirely new digital banking architecture. We launched new internet banking, new mobile banking, and also we implemented chat banking. In parallel, we implemented a new process for cash loan for private clients that set a trend soon to be followed by other banks. The new cash loan process was automated with approval within 30 minutes, and the client needed to present only his ID card. I don't think that at this point it was seen as a part of digital transformation, but in my opinion, it really was, because we had to check, adjust, and change almost every step in existing processes to fit in our digital agenda.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shift Money 2020, and we are now about to announce the winner, the number one winner of the Elevator Lab Challenge Finals. Earlier on this morning, we listened to three big ideas who were local winners of the challenge, and now, very shortly, we will find out who walks away winner of this competition. And what's at stake? Very simply, €5,000 cash, €5,000 cash, but maybe more importantly, a chance to implement their idea, their innovation into Raiffeisen Banks Group's system, which actually reaches out to more than 1.7 million clients, and also lots of conversations and media coverage as well. A chance to pitch their idea at the Elevator Lab Demo Day 2021 as well. So lots more than just the money here to win at stake. Right, let me introduce back on stage, gentlemen, one of the jury members who decided who the lucky winner of the three actually is. From Raiffeisen Bank Croatia, Marko Ladica. Marko, join me back on stage.
Hi, Peter.
Hi. So I imagine it was quite a tough decision to make. Three great ideas, but you had to choose one of them. You came together, you debated. What did you feel about what you heard?
It was a really good presentation and the pitches that we heard today from all of the three contestants. And as you have said, it was a really tough decision because we were going through all of the potential scenarios, all of the criterias, and so to see how will this solution fit into the market, what is the potential, what is the, let's say, overall use cases that are possible into the Raiffeisen Bank community. And we were really struggling with the decision.
I bet.
But finally, after, let's say, half an hour of deliberation and of talking to seeing which one is the winner of the Elevator Lab Challenge for this year, I should not wait any longer.
Yeah. Just in fact, again, the great thing about this competition is it isn't just a startup winning some money and then using that to fund their idea, but all the other benefits as well. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Of course, yeah. As you have mentioned previously, besides the winning the cash prizes, also there is a potential for the presentation at the International Elevator Lab Demo Day, but also the potential of the cooperation between the Raiffeisen Bank and the chosen winner. And I should say definitely that all the top three contestants today are winners, because we'll all get in touch with them to see if there is a potential cooperation with our Raiffeisen Bank and with them, but also one can be named winner.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I imagine maybe all three of these ideas that we heard today in the future, in the coming years, we might actually, as users, be using their idea.
Of course, we should see what the time tells, but let's not wait any longer. The winner of this year's Elevator Lab Challenge is IPification.
IPification! Congratulations, you are the winner. You are the winner of the Elevator Lab Challenge Finals 2020 this year. I think over to winner. There we are. How does it feel? How does it feel to be a winner?
The party is already starting in the office. You know, we just try to keep the social distance. Anyway, what to say? I mean, we are delighted. It's such a great feeling, you know, to be recognized by one of the leading bank in the region, and we are looking forward to have a chance to work together with Raiffeisen Bank and hopefully implement this solution across the whole group and help to protect the customers in the first place, and make their user experience you know, the best it can get on mobile.
Fantastic. And just before you go, tell us, how are you going to celebrate this evening?
Well, that's a good question, because everything shut down after 5 p.m. So I think we have to do celebration a little bit earlier, you know. So we already thought about the lunchtime celebration, etc. here in the office.
Once again, congratulations. Well done for walking away a winner of this year's competition. And we'll be keenly looking forward and out in the media as well to see your progress and how this unfolds for you. And
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It's been a great pleasure to be part of this competition. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the Elevator Lab Challenge finals for this year. And again, this would not be possible, certainly without all the partners involved, all the people behind the scenes that are supporting the idea, that are nurturing the startups and have offered their support as well. So remember, we have Raiffeisen Bank Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia and Croatia, Raiffeisen Bank International as well, naturally, the Shift Money team here who collaborated with the finals as well. Started in Serbia, Hub 385 and Hub 3887. So thank you so much, and we look forward to hopefully doing all of this all over again next year, 2021.